Alrighty. Today, let's work on the initial process of downloading your files onto your hard drive and then going through and culling them. So, for this first part, what I do is I work on a laptop, a MacBook Pro, and I just take the card out of my camera and I put it right in the computer itself. I don't have a card reader because this one has one built into it. So I would just open this window here, and then this is my hard drive, external hard drive, 4 terabytes. And let's say this is going to be a family, and this is called the NER family. So I actually have the file already created right here, and the photos already downloaded. I already have the Lightroom catalog, but for this purpose, I have a folder template. This is where I put my original raw files and any JPEG proofs that I might have, images for an album, exported files for print that would go into their final gallery, blog images, etc. So I copy and paste this every time, and then I just rename it. Name of the family and the year. Oops, it's not 2014, 2024. All right, but I'm not going to keep that file because I already have it there. Basically, let's go down to the NER folder. Each of my shoots has its own folder with its own Lightroom catalog. I am considering changing that to putting all of my shoots in one Lightroom catalog per year, but I have been doing it like this for the past at least 10 years, and even longer than that, almost 14 years. And I'm not quite ready to change that method. However, I do recognize that there's other methods out there that may be better, more efficient, etc. But for right now, this is how I do it. So you would go back into your card, and we're waiting. There we go. And all your files should be right in here. So I would just select all of them, and then I would drag them over. Oops, Command A for select all. And then I come over here to the originals folder and see they're already in there. And so I would just drag them over here. Okay, and drop them in, and then they would load. Like I said, I already have that done. So now the next thing I would do is create a new Lightroom catalog, which I'll just show you how to do that quick. And I would do that while my files are loading or transferring from the card onto the hard drive. I do work off of my hard drive. So we would just do File, New Catalog, and then you would go to your file. Let's say you already have it here under, whoops, I'm in seniors. I need to go to miscellaneous, to families, right here. And I would put it right in there, and it makes its own folder with its own file right in there. And that's where I would place it. So now that we have all our folder or our files downloaded, then we would just go over here to import. Let's say those files are not there. So you would go here and you'd find the folder that you just created, NER family, and you'd hit originals, and there they would all be, and then you'd hit import. Obviously they're already imported, so you can't do that. And then the next thing, as you can see, I've gone through these and actually already created a sneak peek, which I'll show you in just a second. But once you get all those imported, then you select all of them. I select the first one and I hit Command A or Control A on a PC, and then you do library and rename photos right here. Last file I renamed was Addie. And custom settings, I always rename them to the name of the client and the year, and then a dash, and then start number 1. I'm not going to do that, obviously, and you can see that the name of the file is right down here, Nerve Family 2024-0001. Goes all the way to the end to dash 1500. So strangely, we took 1,500 photos on this shoot. So then I go through and I just pick a handful, which is these, as a sneak peek. And I chose 33 of them. You can choose more, you can choose less. I mark them with a 1 or a 2. So actually, I think I went through and marked them with a 1, and then I switched to a 2. I was doing a couple different things here, but typically all the files that I'm going to keep are a 1. So the next thing I'm going to do is select all of these and do Command S for save, because I'm going to save the metadata to all these files. And I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. But once the metadata is saved to the files, that means that the editing and the marking that you put on here will be saved in a special little sidecar, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's an XMP file. So this is a file that I edited, 0008, and here's its little sidecar file that tells you what you did to this file. So it's got all of this information over here in the develop setting, and then the fact that you marked it with a 2. All right, so you're going to save all this because as of right now, I still use Photo Mechanic. I believe I'm going to optimize my Adobe Lightroom so that the catalogs run faster. But there was a time, old school days, where Photo Mechanic was important because you could just fly through the images, and here you had to wait for them to render. See how slow, how long it takes to switch. And that cuts down culling time a lot by using Photo Mechanic. However, I just learned a new way that you can optimize your catalogs so that they move much faster and you no longer need Photo Mechanic. But for the purpose of busy season, I am not going to take that on until afterwards. So I'm going to continue with the routine I have, which is this right now. Whoops, I always do that. So you go into Photo Mechanic. You can do this just as quickly and easily in your Lightroom catalog. So what you're seeing me do here, you can definitely do in Lightroom as well. And this is just culling. I go through and I do an initial cull on my shoots. All right, so I'm going to select that. And then from there, I go into Lightroom and I do a second cull. And then I end up doing a third cull while I'm editing. So the proof is kind of in the pudding when you start editing, because that's when you really like zoom in, make sure everything's sharp. I do it here too, but sometimes I miss stuff because I do move quite quickly. Because the more you think about it, the more time you waste, and truly your initial thought about an image is usually correct. Not always, but usually correct. So next step will be culling these images, and we'll get started on that.